This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, Yashwant and Nitin. Welcome to this demo session of SAP EHS module. Okay, so today we'll go through some of the basic concept in SAP EHS, like how is this SAP EHS module effective to us? How is it going to help the companies to reduce the incidents, to mitigate the risk, and how does it help us to generate the reports? And also, how does it help us in fulfilling the legal requirements when it comes to product safety or maybe dangerous goods? So overall, SAP EHS module is a very versatile module wherein all the concepts, all the requirements in EHS are taken care of. So we are going to see each one of these things and during our demo session. But before we go to that, let's have a quick introduction among ourselves so that I can understand what is your requirements, your concerns. I can clarify them before we go ahead. Okay, let me start from myself. I am Naz Pasha from Bangalore. I was born and brought up here in Bangalore. I'm a basically BTech graduate. Then after completing my BTech, I started working as a EHS professional, like safety officer, safety engineer, senior safety engineer, and I have about 7 years of experience in the core domain. Once I completed 7 years, then I thought, okay, maybe I should upgrade myself and explore the IT sector. And I knew about SAP EHS right from that time, and I decided I can learn SAP EHS and I can get into the IT sector. So currently, I'm working in as a SAP EHS consultant since 5 years. Okay, so I have implemented 2 implementation projects. I was also a part of support project. Okay, currently I'm working from home from Bangalore. Okay, so this is about me. I have 7 years of experience in the core domain and 5 years of experience in the SAP EHS. So that is about me. Now we can go to either Nitin, Yashwant. Could you please tell me about yourself?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'm Nitin.
Yes, Nitin.
I'm a full-time research scholar doing my PhD in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai.
Okay.
And currently I'm working in a project as solid waste management, where this
Okay.
waste will be converted to energy.
Okay.
My main concentrated way of treatment is by using anaerobic digestion generating biogas.
Okay.
So in my project, we are going to characterize, quantify the waste, like food waste, which we are getting from hostels.
Okay.
We will identify the potential of the waste and we will subject the high potential waste in anaerobic digestion and will produce biogas.
Okay. Fine.
Based on that,
So
we are
that is
going
the
to,
research you are doing currently.
yes, that is my research project, yes.
Okay. Fine.
And based on the outputs which we get during the experimental analysis, we will find out what is the best composition for generating efficient amount of biogas.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and yes, this is the work which I'm doing now, and I'm here to know whether this SAP EHS module can be used in my research. I wanted to know that thing first because I have heard this about this SAP EHS module from one of my sister. She's working in Bangalore.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, project level management, some a module called PLM,
Okay.
and she has suggested me you just go give it try so that if it is helpful for you in your research, you can do that. If not, after by the end of your PhD, if you have this knowledge in your CV, this
Yeah.
SAPHS
Yeah. That
module,
is right.
that will
Yes.
give weightage to you, which will
Yeah.
fetch you a good job.
Yes. Yes. That is right.
So I wanted to know whether this will be useful for my research or not, and then even if it is not going useful, like if it is not useful for me, I can use this
Okay.
for my job purposes.
Yeah. Yeah. That is right. So
Yes.
basically, the reason that why you wrote this SAP software as such, or what is the use of EHS module? It definitely consists of waste management. It addresses the requirements of waste management, but it is not from the perspective of any research. Okay, what happens here is any company, let it be into manufacturing sector, pharma sector, even civil and construction, if they are generating any hazardous waste, definitely they have to follow some of the regulations that are applicable on them. So SAP EHS is going to focus more from the perspective of legal compliance. Okay, if you are producing any hazardous waste, what procedure do you need to follow? What are the documents that are required if you want to go and dispose that waste? What is the safe method of disposing that waste? And if you want to register yourself with any of the government authority, what kind of process you need to follow, and what are the different types of waste that you can create in SAP EHS. So we are going to learn about waste management, but only from the perspective of compliance and disposal process. But regarding your research work, I don't know how helpful it will be. Like maybe you are more focused on recycling of this waste in the generation of biofuel, which is good. But SAP basically it is a software which maintains the data. You create the data and you put the data into the SAP software, and you can utilize the data for generating reports, for research purposes, for for reporting purposes, of course. And if you want to analyze how your EHS system is performing, so basically from that perspective, we'll be using SAP EHS module. Okay, that is the first thing. Secondly, yeah, you want to ask something, Nitin?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're going to say is the mandatory things or the data which is to be entered in this module should be given by us.
Given by whom? I didn't get you.
Given by like the guys who are using the SAP module. Suppose what I wanted to tell
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
um, for example, I'm taking a waste of
Hmm.
1 kg
Okay.
for producing biogas.
Okay.
This 1 kg of food waste is not potentially harmful waste
Yes,
for
exactly.
environment, even for humans also.
Yes, yes.
But I'm going to subject this waste for treatment through anaerobic
Yeah.
digestion
Hmm.
with the help of adding some enzymes or some pre-treatments or cow
Yes,
dung, these kind of
yes.
things, or
Yeah.
wastewater sludge, these kind of things I will
Hmm.
add with that, and then I'll
Hmm.
subject the waste to treatment.
Hmm. Yes.
And what I do is I'll generate biogas from that,
Yeah.
and the generation of biogas happens by the destruction of organic matter present in the waste,
Hmm.
food waste.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
what I wanted to know is,
Hmm.
I mean, the digestate. I mean, after generating biogas, we will have
Hmm.
the leftover residue
Hmm.
things, which is not like we
Useful.
cannot
You have to
directly
dispose
dispose
it.
that. We have to dispose it in a proper way.
Yes. Okay.
So, if according to you, this is completely on hazardous waste management or the disposal process only.
This is not only useful for your hazardous waste. I don't mean that, but any waste which
Okay.
which you have to dispose, or even if you are intending to recycle it. Okay. So basically, it
Okay.
will capture what is the kind of waste you are producing, what is the
Okay.
hazardous nature or the nature of the waste, and
Okay.
in how much quantity you are basically generating this waste, and the
Okay.
different people or institutions that are involved in handling this waste. For example,
Okay.
if any company is generating the waste, obviously they need lot of vendors to do the disposal process. It starts
Yes.
with the waste generator. You need a waste transporter to transport your waste to the disposal facility, and then you need waste disposer, who is a vendor responsible for either disposing the waste in a safe manner, or he can reuse it or recycle it. Okay,
Yes.
so from
Yes.
that perspective, we are going to concentrate mainly upon what is the nature of the hazard substance, okay, how much quantity wise, and how are we going to dispose it, what are the documents that are required for disposal. So we go from that perspective. So as far as your research, what I understood is you do the processing of the waste, then you generate, you decompose it, then you separate the biogas that is produced from that. Then that biogas will go into a separate section altogether, and whatever the remaining sludge is there or the unusable part of your waste, that has to be disposed. So here SAP will be only concentrating on after you generate the biogas, what happens to the remaining part of the waste. That is where the SAP waste management starts its function.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, fine.
It doesn't address the conversion process, breaking up of molecules, decomposition. That will entirely go into the research part.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Okay. From the application point of view, we are going to use SAP EHS module.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that is why
Yeah.
we call it as a data management system, because it we just feed the data, we maintain the data, we generate reports, we analyze the data. That is what basically we do in any SAP module. In any
Okay.
SAP module.
Okay.
Okay. So that is what we are
Yes,
going to
understood.
cover in this.
Yes, understood.
Okay. Anything else, Nitin, before we go on?
No, now I am very much clear about this topic.
Yes, yes. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
only
You
thing
can,
is, usually in my research, what we do is we will just estimate the gas or biofuel which we generate. As
yeah.
of now, we didn't estimate what are the things which we get in this residue or
Mm-hmm.
leftovers. Now, what I wanted to do is, if I can estimate these things and if I can put these things in this module, so that we'll get to know whether it is safe or not, or whether it is disposable or not, whether it is exceeding
Oh,
its
okay.
threshold limits.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, those things you have to perform those activities outside of the SAP,
Yes.
because
Yes. Okay.
SAP itself, it is not artificial intelligence so that it will gather the data and it will analyze. It is not going to do those things. You have to
Okay.
tell the SAP software that whether it is a hazardous waste or non-hazardous waste. If it is
Okay.
hazardous waste, which is the disposal process you need to follow? You need to feed all this data into our SAP system,
Okay.
and then it is going to use the data for generating reports or for various other purposes. You can use the data.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is going to predefined things we have to give. Based on
Yeah,
that,
exactly,
if you
exactly,
give the data and if you run the program, we'll get the reports. These kind of things.
exactly. So,
Yes.
for instance, if
Yes.
you need to generate a disposal document, you need to
Yes.
first have a report template of that disposal document, and upon
Yes.
entering the data related to the waste, it is going to generate the report. So,
Yes.
since
Yes. Understood.
uh, till up until now, we used to do all these things manually. We used to create
Okay.
a document manually. Everything was done manually, causing us
Okay.
to lose a lot of time.
Yes.
Okay, but with this ERP softwares, it has made our work much easier, so that you can
Yes.
automate all your data related stuff.
Yes. 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 I understood. Very
Yeah.
much clear.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Fine. Yeah, Yashwant, we have Yashwant with us. Yashwant, can you just brief about yourself? Then we can go on with demo.
I am from Hyderabad. I am having total 8 years of experience in the field of
Can you turn up your volume, Yashwant? It is very feeble.
now you can hello.
Yeah, your voice is actually feeble. I don't know. There is some audio issue, I believe.
Now is
I
it
can
okay?
hear you, but it is very feeble. I don't know if other people can hear.
It is same for me also.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it okay now?
Okay, no problem. We can. Please go on.
Myself is one. I am from Hyderabad. I am having total 8 years of experience as safety engineer in construction field. Right
Yeah.
now, I want to change my field from construction industry to IT sector
Okay.
because of their growth.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
actually told by my friends to do this SAP EHS program, which will be
Exactly.
very effective regarding to my previous experience.
Yeah. Okay. And yes, we had a talk yesterday. Like you told me, what is your requirement actually, and
Yes,
what is
yes,
your intention of doing this SAP EHS? Yeah.
yes,
So that is fine. You have done BTech in mechanical engineering, if I remember correctly.
yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So today, Ishwant, I'll just tell you what are the things that we are going to study in SAP EHS module, and how is it going to be advantageous for many of the companies. I know you might have seen the course content. Okay, you might have seen, but I'll just explain you in detail what are the options we have in SAP EHS module which you can utilize in any company. It supports both manufacturing, civil construction, or chemical industries, pharma industry. You take any industry, even services-based industry. SAP EHS module is very versatile. That is the reason why a lot of companies are going for it, and including your waste management. Okay, right from product safety up to the waste management, industrial hygiene and safety, occupational health. There are many modules in this. Okay,
Okay,
so I'll just take you through each of these components so that you can understand better how versatile SAP EHS module is and how it is going to help us.
okay.
Okay, will that be fine?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. If any doubts, once we complete our demo, maybe we'll get back to the questions.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Just let me know if you can see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'll take you through what are the main advantages of SAP EHS module. We are going to see those things first. Then we'll move on to the each part that we have in SAP EHS module. So let's start. SAP EHS module is a very versatile module. It helps us in complying with our environmental, occupational, product safety processes, and regulatory compliance. It helps us to fulfill all the requirements from the regulatory perspective. And even as an employer, you are responsible for the health and safety of the employees who are working in your company. So this is basically going to address those issues. Secondly, how does it achieve these things, or how can we improve our EHS management system? See what happens in because I was working in the real time at the ground level. I know the policies are made at the management level. They create lot of policies regarding EHS. Okay, they very bold steps they take. But when it comes down to the actual execution at the ground level, we somehow fall short in these things, in these policies. There will be good policies, but the implementation part is where we lack. Okay, because we don't have proper planning, we don't know exactly which are the issues we need to address. We don't know how to actually percolate these policies to the ground level. That is where we fail. So, along with creating the policies, you should also be in a position to implement them at the ground level. So our SAP EHS module is going to help us not only in developing the policies related to the EHS management system, but also you can take this down, you can plan accordingly how you want to implement this at the ground level. So that is why not only EHS, we have the integration part with our human resources, logistics, production, finance, and there are various other modules that are integrated with SAP EHS. There are few other, EHS softwares are available in the market. For instance, Enablon is one of them. But the other softwares are not as better as SAP EHS. The reason is they are all standalone modules. They don't share the data between different modules. Whereas in SAP, if you see, if you want to share any data between HR module and EHS, or if you want to take some data from the materials management module, you can share the data, you can extract the data. Okay, and you can share the data with your logistics team. So SAP EHS is integrated with lot of other modules. That is what makes it so powerful. Okay, and you compare it with other company softwares, it is not at all, they are standalone basically. They are standalone modules. Okay, this is one of the greatest advantages of using SAP EHS module. Next, how does it actually help the companies? This is what we'll see here. It will help you to reduce incidents. How can you reduce incidents? It will help us to identify the risk. It will help us to identify what are the hazards in a workplace. Okay, and then you can plan what should be the control measures to mitigate those risks in the work area. Okay, thereby you can provide the safe working conditions for the employees who are working in your company. So overall, the effect of these planning and implementation of control measures will help the company to reduce the incidents overall. So till yesterday, what we used to do, everything was documented on a hard copy. We used to create some documents, risk assessments, and we used to implement control measures. But there was no, what you call the systematic application of control measures was not available to us. But now using SAP EHS, we can systematically identify the hazards. We can see what control measures have to be implemented, and we can take necessary steps, and we can even identify the people. See, for example, the control measures in EHS are not implemented by EHS team. That is a responsibility of either the plant maintenance team or either the execution team. They have to do these things. So in EHS, what you can do, you can identify those people who are responsible for implementation, and you can assign these tasks of implementing the control measures. Thereby, it will not only reduce your time, but also you will be making other person responsible for EHS, because EHS is not a one-man job. It has to be a teamwork. Okay, by identifying these people for implementing the safety measures, you can make them really responsible for these activities. That is the first advantage. Second is, many companies like chemical process industries, pharmaceutical industries, they are known to use hazardous substances, okay, in their production process. And we know hazardous substances are something that that will come directly under the legal purview. There are regulations which you need to follow as per how much quantity you can store in the company, how much quantity you can actually manufacture, and how much quantity of hazardous substance you can sell in the market. Why there are strict regulations related to hazardous substance? I don't know if people can remember. I think 1 or 1.5 years ago in Lebanon, Beirut, there was a huge explosion at the port. That explosion was the biggest explosion after 9/11. So you can imagine the kind of intensity that explosion had. And what was the reason? In that port, there was a warehouse where they were storing this hazardous substance. I think it was most probably ammonium nitrate. Yeah. So it was ammonium nitrate, which is a very explosive substance. They had stored that material in huge quantities without taking any safety precautions. And because of some, I don't know, maybe because of fire or something, the entire material got exploded. Okay. Because they were not following the regulation and the quantity was out of limit. That is why most of the countries, they limit the use of hazardous substances in the industries. For example, even if you want to keep diesel or petrol, in your industry for diesel generator, there is a limit for that. You cannot store as much as you want. Diesel and petrol should not be stored more than, I don't know, more than 1 gallon maybe. Okay. So how much of the hazardous substances you can store in your company? How much is the present quantity of the hazardous substances? Is it really getting exceeded in terms of the maximum limit? You can track your hazardous substances using SAP EHS module, because it is not about one hazardous substance. There may be more than 50 or 100 hazardous substances. So how do you manually check how much is the quantity of each hazardous substance? It is very difficult. So what happens is SAP EHS will check what is the present quantity of these hazardous substances, and if required, it will intimate the user to take necessary action to bring down the quantity limit. So that is a very powerful way of controlling the hazardous substances in a company. Otherwise, if you don't follow the regulations, if there is any inspection by the labor department or from the factory inspector, he'll check the records, and if he finds out that you're not following the regulation, he may either cancel the license or he may take strict action against the company. That is going to happen. So to avoid such kind of legal penalties, you can track them. Track how much is your hazardous substance and see to it that they never exceed the maximum limit. That is where our SAP EHS is going to help us. This is one of the most important functions of SAP EHS. Then thirdly, you can monitor the incident pattern. See, incident is nothing but it can be an accident, injury, near miss. There are lots of incidents that keep on happening in the industry. Some person fell from height, somebody got injured his leg, somebody got cut on his finger. All these are incidents. So each incident that is happening in a company, you can make a record of it in our SAP EHS module, and you can see the pattern, like which is the area that we need to focus more. Is it related to process safety, or are the people not following the standard operating procedures, or what kind of injuries they are going through, and how do we control it? So when you have all the data, all the bulk data, you can segregate it, okay, time wise or incident wise, and you can see, you can find out exactly where we are lacking, what we need to do to control these incidents. So that is where again our SAP EHS is going to help us. We can create different incidents depending on whether it is a near miss, whether it's an accident, or damage to the property. You can divide them, and you can see the trend over a period of time, for a period of 6 months, for a period of 1 year, and you can identify the areas of improvement. That is where again SAP EHS is going to help us. And then fourthly, all the legal, safety and sustainability regulations. It may be related to our environment, it may be related to the occupational health and safety. There are regulations which we need to follow as per the Factories Act, and any dangerous occurrence has to be reported, any fatality has to be reported. So to comply with the legal requirements, SAP EHS is really going to be a very beneficial device. Because using SAP EHS, not only maintaining the data, we can also generate the report, like I told you. And from legal perspective, there are so many reports which you need to submit them from weekly basis to monthly basis to quarterly basis. It may be related to your waste management, it may be related to your environmental parameters, it may be related to your dangerous occurrence, fatalities. There are many types of reports which you need to submit to the government. Okay, and once you know what is the format of the report, you can design that report template, you can use that template forever. And generation of the report from the available data is very easy. It will take hardly 2-3 minutes. Okay, you can generate the report. But just imagine if you are doing all these things manually, it will take hours and it will take days just to create one report. Because manually you have to go through all the data, you have to check whether it is correct or not, you have to fill it manually, take the printout, seal, sign, then send it to the government agency. But here it is not like that. You can easily share these reports with the government. Okay, that is why it will help us in generating the reports. And then finally, you can proactively implement some necessary checkpoints, like if there is any issues related to the behavior, safety behavior of the employees, you can identify those trends. Or if there is any near misses, you can identify those trends, and you can actually see to it that you implement those control measures well in advance, so that it doesn't convert into any incidents in the future. So you can assess the risk proactively, and you can implement the necessary control measures. So all these are the major concerns, or I can say the pain points of EHS are very well covered under SAP EHS module. Okay, so these are some of the advantages which I just wanted to tell you guys. Okay, now let us go into the actual course content, what we are going to learn. One second. Okay. So we'll start with, I'll give you some overview of SAP. Like, I'm going to take you through the history of SAP, where it was started, who started this SAP, what is its market value currently, how is it doing as compared to its competitors, how many modules are there, what are technical, functional modules. I'll just give you a brief overview of SAP as a company as well as their area of operations. Okay, that will be the general overview of not only EHS but also SAP as a company. Then I'll tell you some of the things related to our EHS. What is, what are the different projects we have in SAP, implementation projects, support projects, etc., etc. I'll take you through those things. Next, we'll study about basic data and tools. So what is basic data and tools? This is a very important component because this is where all your data related to EHS will be stored. Maybe it is related to MSDS, incidents, product safety, hazardous substances, dangerous goods, or even waste management. All the data related to EHS will be actually created, and that data will be stored in basic data and tools. So this is the very important and the first component we are going to learn. So within this basic data and tools, we are going to see what is specification. We are going to see how to create the phrases, how we can connect these phrases with our specification management. Okay, and what are the different specification categories are there, what type of reports we can generate in this specification management, how is it really going to help the companies. All those things we are going to see in the specification management and phrase management. And then finally, coming to report management, we'll see how many types of reports are available to us in SAP in general terms. Okay, like labels, incident reports, or MSDS reports. We'll see about the reports, different reports available in SAP EHS. This is the basic data and tools we'll study. Next, going to product safety. Like, the product safety is mainly related to your hazardous substances which you are using in the company as a raw material or maybe for any other business process. And I told you, if it is coming under the regulatory requirement, you need to see that the quantity of those hazardous substances are as per the permitted limits. And also, while you are handling these hazardous substances, what safety precautions are you exercising? That whole thing is covered under product safety. So we'll see in this a report information system, which is related to, again, reports, the kind of reports we can generate, how do we share those reports, how do we manage the reports, what kind of check happens when you create the report. Those things I'll tell you in report information system. Substance volume tracking is, I told you about the quantity of the hazardous substance. They should be checked automatically by the system. So that function will be performed by substance volume tracking. This is one of the options we have in product safety, using which we can automatically track what is the quantity of the hazardous substances in the company, so that it will alert us on a timely manner. It will alert us if it reaches 80% of the maximum limit or 90% of the maximum limit. We can control the quantity of the hazardous substances based on the response I get from substance volume tracking. So it is very important, even from the perspective, interview perspective, or the companies that using product safety, substance volume tracking is very important. Fine. Next, we'll see about WWI. It is nothing but Windows Word Processor Integration Software, which is available in SAP. So why we use this WWI is mainly because if you want to create any report template, let's say you want to design a report template. So how do you actually design? It is not that you can open a Microsoft Word document, you can design the report, and you can use it. No. Whatever report template you want to design, it has to be done within the SAP. So this WWI is an advanced version of Microsoft Word. It is an advanced version where we can design our report templates. Okay, we'll see that how it works, what are the options available in WWI. All those things we'll see in WWI report template. And then we go to global label management, wherein it addresses all the label requirements of a company. Label, though it is very small, okay, it may be in millimeters or maybe in centimeters, but labels in a company, especially in a manufacturing sector, are very, very important. They are not only used on the, the boxes or on the carton boxes, they are used in lot of other business processes, right from ordering the raw material up to you deliver the product to the customer. Whatever the business processes are involved in between, in all those business processes you require labels. To tell you some examples: production, production preparation, waste management, dangerous goods, and then you have sample labels, you have transportation. In transportation you need labels. In warehouse management you need labels. In plant maintenance you need labels. There are many applications of labels. So maybe till now you had an idea that labels are quite just they are very normal, it just gives me the product information. No, it gives a lot of information related to the product as well as the nature of the product, and you can use it even for delivering the product to your customer. Okay, we'll see how these labels are divided into how many categories, what are the applications of these labels. Okay, how do we determine label, which label has to be printed, how do we determine that? All those sections we are going to see in global label management. Okay, are we clear up to this point? This is our product safety. Next, let's go to hazardous substance management. So hazardous substance management, I can say it is a very smallest component in our SAP EHS module. It mainly consists of two things. One is hazardous substance master and Sara reports. Okay, and why do we use this component? It is used to maintain some important details of a hazardous substance. Okay, and for that purpose we use hazardous substance master. Hazardous substance master is a record which will contain the most important information of all the hazardous substances which are used in the company. But it will not contain each and every point of a hazardous substance. No, it only contains important data related to the hazardous substances, so that we can use those information, and you can share that information with your other teams like sales team, with your logistics team, with your warehouse management team. We can share the data of the hazardous substances. That is why we use hazardous substance master. And coming to Sara reports, let's say you are a manufacturer of a hazardous substance in India, and then after manufacturing you want to export that hazardous substance into United States. Now, there is a requirement that you cannot directly manufacture and send the material to USA. They will not accept it. First, you need to prepare a report known as Sara report. This is US Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act report. Okay, and this is only applicable for United States. It cannot be used for other countries. So what this report contains? It contains some of the important information related to hazardous substance, like what is the quantity of the hazardous substance, where do we use this hazardous substance, okay, what is the maximum limit for this hazardous substance, what is the hazardous nature of this hazardous substance, whether it is flammable, explosive, corrosive, toxic, radioactive, what kind of material it is. All those informations are first prepared in a Sara report. Then we submit this Sara report to the government of USA. Like, we submit this to the Environmental Protection Agency, which is the agency in USA. Then they will go through the Sara report. If they find that this material can be allowed inside USA, then you can export the hazardous substances. Okay, so we'll see the Sara reports. Actually, there are three types of Sara reports. What are those? What are the programs that are involved to generate this Sara report? We'll see that in hazardous substance management. It is very small component, but very useful. Okay, going ahead to dangerous goods management. This is again, it is like the heart of your EHS module. Dangerous goods management is used by almost all of the manufacturing companies, especially chemical, pharma, petrochemical companies. Okay, they use this dangerous goods management because whenever you are manufacturing in a hazardous substance, okay, and when you want to transport that hazardous substance to various locations, there are certain regulations which you need to follow, and we call them as dangerous goods regulations. So here we are going to see what are the different dangerous goods regulations that are available, that are followed internationally as well as country specific, and what kind of dangerous goods data that we need to maintain in our dangerous goods management component. What are the different types of transportations available to us? We can either use roadways, railways, airways, shipping, even your river system can be used for transportation of dangerous goods. We'll see those transport categories, and also we'll see some of the important regulations that are followed internationally. Okay, we'll see that. Next, the master record. Dangerous goods master record is a very important record that contains all the information of each dangerous good, right from what is the nature of the dangerous good up to what kind of transportation you want to use, what is the packaging material you are using for that dangerous good. Every information will be contained in this dangerous good master record. I'll show you how to prepare this master record, what data goes into this, and other details related to this dangerous good master record. Fine. And then we are going to see some of the dangerous goods documents. They are basically used by sales and distribution team. But still, you need to know what are the dangerous goods documents that are normally created in dangerous goods management. Okay. So these are some of the things what we are going to learn in dangerous goods management. So mainly three things. One is the dangerous good regulation, the type of transportation category, and third, what kind of packaging material are you using for your dangerous goods. So these three things make this component very useful. Okay, this is our dangerous goods management. Again, like I told earlier about waste management. Waste management is going to address the type of waste which we are generating. We can create a waste code. I mean, depending on what type of waste I am generating, I can create a particular waste code for each type of waste. And then I can create the data related to that. For example, what is the hazardous nature of that waste, and which is the applicable regulation, what should be the disposal process if I want to dispose it, etc., etc. All those things will come under basic data. Master data will contain the different waste management roles. Like there are standard roles in available in waste management, mainly your waste generator, waste transporter, waste disposer, and authority. These are the four roles that are available in waste management. So we are going to see how do we use these roles, how do we create any vendor or business partner. Okay, how do we assign these roles to the vendors. We'll see those things under master data. Okay, and not only that, there are some documents also, like entry document is there, approval document is there. What are those documents? Why do we use them? We'll see those things in master data. Next, disposal processing and disposal documents is nothing but when you have finally decided to dispose your waste, what is the process you need to follow? What are the disposal documents, options that are available to us? How do we create these documents? Okay, and while creating these documents, what kind of information can we actually maintain in those documents? I'll tell you all of those things in the disposal processing and disposal documents. Yeah, related reporting, it is the same thing. Like whatever documents you prepare with respect to waste management, we call it as reporting. Because even this data has to be submitted to the government agency every month. Okay, so we'll see that in waste management. Next, going ahead, industrial hygiene and safety, or first I'll tell you about the occupational health component. This is a very vast component and a very important component that deals with the health and safety, not safety, only with the health of the employees. Because as you are aware, employer is responsible for the health and well-being of the employees. So even now regulations are so stringent that the employer has to take care of the health of the employees. Okay, so this occupational health is going to help those employers who want to maintain all the data related to the health of the employees. So why do we use this component? Mainly when you are recruiting people into the company, so they have to go through what is known as the pre-employment medical checkup. So when they go for this pre-employment medical checkup, the reports what you get, the medical reports, that data can be stored in our occupational health. We can analyze whether this person can be employed or not, depending on what medical report he gets. Okay, that is pre-employment medical checkup. Once he joins the company, each employee has to go through a mandatory medical checkup every year or maybe every 6 months, depending on the requirement. Every employee has to go through the medical checkup. Okay, so what we do here is we can assign what are the medical tests he has to go through, what is the examination type that he has to go through, and what are the applicable tests that has to be conducted on them, and all those related medical reports can be again maintained in our occupational health. Not only that, you can even take the appointment with the doctor. You can fix an appointment with the doctor for medical checkup, and you can send an invitation to the employee asking him to report for medical checkup on so and so date and so time. Okay, once he accepts that invitation, he will go to the medical checkup and he can complete it. So that we are going to see in schedule planning. Creating an appointment for medical checkup, asking the employee to go, sending him invitation, and also you can create something known as a medical service. Medical service is nothing but related to each employee. What is its medical history? Did he happen to be in any accident while working? Any kind of injuries or illness in the previous, okay, maybe in the previous employment or during the previous years. All that medical history can be maintained under the medical service. And this is, I'm speaking about each employee. There may be 500, there may be 5,000. It doesn't matter. All their data has to be captured. And we are going to see that in occupational health. Mainly we are going to use the integration of HCM module with our EHS. Not only that, we will also see the injury illness, how to create an injury illness report, what data has to be entered in that injury illness report, how do we share. Those things we'll see in injury illness law. And then integration, like I told you, it is connected with other component. Mainly it is connected with our industrial hygiene and safety. So that from incident accident report, you can jump to your injury illness log, and from injury illness log, you can access medical service. They are all connected together. Okay, that is what is known as an integration, and we are going to see that. Okay, this is our occupational health component. I hope you are clear with this occupational health. And remember, this is only related to the health services of the employees. It has nothing to do with safety. It has nothing to do with any other EHS parameter. Okay, then finally we will go through industrial hygiene and safety component, which is a very important component and it is very vast. There are so many functions which you can perform under industrial hygiene and safety. For example, you can prepare risk assessments in industrial hygiene and safety. You can measure, you can take the measurements of the agents that are available in the work areas. You can see how much is the noise level. You can compare the noise with the standard values, and then you can implement control measures. All that you can do under measurement management. So you can create risk assessment. You can measure the agents or hazards in a work area. You can report accidents or incidents that are taking place in a company. Okay, and you can even perform the detailed investigation related to each incident. It may be near miss, it may be accident resulting in injury, it may be damage to property, it can be anything. All kind of incidents can be investigated here. Okay, and then we'll also see about exposure management. Exposure management means when a group of employees are working in a particular area, what are the different agents that they are exposed to? What are the agents that they are exposed to? How are those agents impacting the health and safety of those employees? So we are going to analyze these parameters in exposure management. Exposure is nothing but when you are exposed to any hazard or danger, we call it as exposure. And learning or doing analysis of that exposure is known as exposure management. Okay, we'll see that. And then finally, we'll also see the work area management. So what is work area management? Any plant or company, if you want to effectively implement EHS measures, it cannot be done as a one unit. You have to subdivide it into separate categories. Like, what I'll do is I'll take a plant, I'll divide that plant into different work areas. Maybe like maintenance area, production area, warehouse area, laboratory, canteen, parking, etc., etc. I'll divide it into different work areas, boiler room or STP, ETP area. By dividing a plant into different work areas, it is going to help me to analyze what are the hazards that are there and what kind of safety measures do I need to implement in that work area, so that it will be easier for me. I can just concentrate on one work area, I can identify the hazards, and I can implement the control measures. Once that is done, I'll go to the next work area, I'll concentrate on that, I'll see what are the hazards, again I'll implement the control measures. Next, I'll move on to the next work area. So that is the reason. If everything is connected, if everything is in one unit, it becomes very difficult for you people, even for EHS and also for the production team, to identify the hazards and to mitigate the risk. It is very difficult. So better to divide the work area, to divide the plant into different work areas and then take care of each of these work areas. We are going to see that, and we will create a work area. How to create the work area, what data goes into it, everything will be seen in this. And like I told you, industrial hygiene and safety is a very vast component. It will cover a lot of concepts related to EHS. That is one thing. And then I'll also tell you related to some integration concepts. What are the tables we find in SAP EHS, the data structure, some technical concepts also I'll add wherever required. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn in SAP EHS module. Apart from these things, yeah, I'll help you out in preparing your CVs. What kind of questions can you expect in the interviews? Okay, how do you answer them? How do you basically tackle them? That will be again at the end of the course. I'll share the sample CVs with you, and I'll share you some of the stuff which is very much required to clear the interview. Okay, so this is what I had today in our SAP EHS demo. Now, please, you can go ahead and ask any questions whatsoever if you have.
So for this SAP module, we should go through. We should run in a software, right?
Yeah, it is a software. Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, like in this training, we will get the software if we join here, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. See, this is actually a server which will be provided to you so that you can practice it.
Yes,
You
yes,
have to
yes.
practice. You have to create the reports. You need to go through all of these materials.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so that will be provided.
Any hands-on training? I mean, real-time project things can be done.
No, see, real-time projects, it cannot be done actually because all
Yeah,
that
because companies
information
they'll
is,
not allow us to access their
yeah,
data. That's that.
exactly. And I don't know, like, a lot of people advertise saying that, they will give you hands-on experience on real-time projects. That is all not going to happen. Yeah, maximum what I can do is I can tell you from my previous experiences how we implemented any project. Okay, how did we complete the project? Those things I can tell you from my past experience. But in real time, nobody is going to share the data with you.
Yes, yes. That's all from me.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Sai Charan. If you are trying to speak, I cannot hear you.
Yes, sir. My name is Sai Chiran.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally, I have a 5 years experience in safety field, sir.
Sorry.
Totally, I have the 5 years experience in safety.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to want to join in SAP. Sir,
Okay.
what is the feature in SAP, sir? Basically, EHS module is very. I think it's a rare module
Yes, it is. Of course.
when compared to or FICO. EHS is a very rare module.
Yeah.
How is the job opportunity in the market, sir? If any, please.
See, again, there are very few other courses also where there are no consultants available at all. See, it all depends
Yeah,
on
exactly.
supply and demand scenario in a market. I know modules, FICO modules, these are common modules. But just imagine how many people are learning how many people are learning SD. If there are 10 openings,
Yeah.
there will be 30 to 40 people who will be attending the interview. Okay, now compare that with EHS module. If there are 3 or 5 openings, maximum, I don't know, maybe 10 people, 15 people. Okay, see, the demand in SAP EHS is very high, but the supply side is very low. There are no consultants, there are no good consultants in the market. So I think that is an opportunity. Okay, competition is less. Great salary package for SAP EHS consultants. Okay,
Okay.
and less competition, of course. And now the demand is steadily increasing for SAP EHS consultants. I know people working in core domain are also getting the calls from IT companies. Just imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
So the right now the trend is very good for SAP consultant, not only EHS. I would be very much partial if I say that any IT consultant is having a good time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question from our colleagues?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So is there any basic knowledge needed to study SAP, such as
What knowledge?
we need any basic knowledge to study SAP?
Yeah. Yes.
What knowledge we need?
You should know at least how to use Microsoft Word. You should know how to use Excel. Okay. And apart from that, you should know the basic concepts in EHS. If you have good knowledge in EHS, it will be advantageous. As far as coding is, many people ask me, do we need programming knowledge, coding knowledge? Do we need? No, it is not required.
Okay, sir.
Because it is a functional module. Functional module basically concentrates only on the functional side or the business side of the of the company.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, Guru. Yeah. Any other question? Yashwant, if you have any question. Okay. So fine then. If we don't have any questions, I may end the session here. And later also, if you have any other doubt, you can please you can reach out to your training coordinators. They will connect me to you anytime. You can put any questions to me. I'll be happy to clarify them.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Ishwan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
sir.
yeah. Okay, Nathan. Thank you
Yeah.
everyone for attending this demo session. I hope I was able to convey whatever information was required from my end. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.